Listen, the main selling point for any highbrow humor is the dialogue. No, your ooh anime girl scream or your boobs going boing are not funny, alright? Nor is any cheesy dialogue said with one eye closed while a comically huge sweat drop appears behind another character's head, all the while a crow is chirping, aho, aho. It's just not funny, it's boring and low effort. Since I want to convince you to watch Monogatari, what I'd usually do is just give you a slice of the show's dialogue. But the problem is that the scene that I show you might not be truly representative of the show, since it might be the best scene in the show and it'll never be beat, and you'll go in with expectations set way too high, ultimately ruining an otherwise pleasant experience. The other option is to summarize the plot in a minimum of 10 minutes and 1 second and explain the hidden genius behind the subversive, boundary-pushing Hegelian symbolism in Monogatari, but I'd sooner kill myself. So I'll just do the following. I'll give you a story-agnostic, Monogatari-esque, non-canon fan abridge, and I'll let you decide if you want to see a show with similar writing. Well, better writing. It's within the same vein, okay?
The tree of liberty withers, it beckons for the blood of politicians to water it. The cattle applaud from the slaughterhouse, the young die in wars.
What do you want?
I need help with my homework.
Your homework? Yeah, sure, what do you need help with?
So I gotta write this essay about family. Look, here's what I got so far.
I have one Nissan, Ichi Nissan. He's currently studying for uni. I think he's probably gonna fail the entry test and need a do-over? Is that all you wrote? And you came to me for help after only writing a single line? You didn't even write about yourself or Skihi. Did you even bother putting in any effort towards this? Did you just come here to waste my time?
Ooh, you seem stressed. Say now, Araragi, your standardized stress test measures IQ, agree? So please, do humor me. Answer this, I suggest, because it'll help foresee if the panel will agree on your entry a repress, stopping your 4-year degree.
Hey, why'd you try so hard with the 3 instances of ternary rhyme scheme, all in trimeter?
Well, I didn't do it without rhyme or reason. A ternary operator is invoked. I spoke in rhyme, the reason being that I wanted to pique your interest so you wouldn't kick me out or something. Otherwise, I would have just spoken normally.
Wouldn't an interrupt flag have been better?
No, all vexillology vexes me. Did you not like my poetry?
Well, that's a bold use of the word poetry since there was no meter at all. Also, your 3rd stanza had 3 instances of 1 too many syllables.
An inch of hypercatalexis is allowed for improv poetry.
A foot more like it.
And now a riddle is afoot.
Am I helping you solve a solved riddle?
Only one way to find out.
Alright, I'll play. Hey, what's with the unary numeral scheme?
The unary numeral scheme helps satisfy a unary relation. The symmetry of the numbers must be maintained when they're flipped.
Oh, I see.
So, you're in a one-on-one competition with another contestant in a game show. First, you have to choose between 3 doors labeled 1, 2, and 3. Your prize pool is calculated by multiplying the number of doors you choose with the current pot. Behind door 1 is a duo of bi girls. They're right there.
Yeah, sorry, it's just that I have an itchy knee because of the sun. Skin gets ashy, but carry on.
You've almost scratched it bloody. How do you deal with the pain?
It's actually quite numb, and the more I scratch it, the number it gets.
Anyways, one has mono and one doesn't. Of the 2, you must choose to make out with one. If you don't care about the symptoms, of course, you can choose to make out with both of them. The second one has... 1 second. Yeah, the second one has 1 man. A man named Juan-2 from whose body you have to eat 1 plate of secondi in under 3 minutes. A third one contains 1-1. Cut into 1/3 and shuffle. You have to reassemble the 3 pieces into the original shape.
Firstly, or most importantly, I fail to see how this measures my IQ, or helps us figure out whether or not I'm getting into college.
But the problem lies on your perception, thus your primary objection is moot.
Alright, I have a triad of options, but 2 of them have a binary or 1 in 2 chance of failure. With door 1, I might get mono from one of the duo. However, I'd be in double trouble, not only from Mono, but also once my one and only son Sugahara finds out I'm a two-timer. It would be pretty difficult to explain the story behind my Mono story, or my Monogatari. Since Gatari as an ego can be understood as word or language, then my Monogatari will contain only one word, or will have Monogatari. With the tertiary door, it may seem I have a lower than 1 in 2 chance of getting it right, since I have to reassemble 3 pieces. But with the brush dipped in ink, the first part of the stroke for 1 is the thickest. Thus, the first piece is easy to spot. That leaves the second and third piece, but given the linear dispersion of ink, we will always have a 1 in 1 chance of getting the order right. But this sort of thinking is quite naive. Notice that someone might realize the quickly depleting ink from the paper, and thus to compensate for that, he might apply more force in the third section of the stroke, or just rotate the brush to the side with more ink. Thus, our previous line of thinking has a 1 in 2 chance of being accurate, depending on the disposition of the person making the stroke. This leaves us with only one option, the secondary door, to eat 1 plate of secondi from the body of 1-2 in under 3 minutes. Thanks to Juan, I won a 1-to-1 prize pool. My primary point was an objection ruled moot. My secondary point clearly explained my reasoning for choosing the secondary door. Now, my tertiary point is merely a realization. A realization that this has been the biggest waste of time today. Goodbye, and try not to waste any more of my day.
But Doggy, hold on 1 second. That was only the first part of my 2-part riddle. Recall I said you have to first choose between 3 doors in the game show. You never let me get on to the second part. Also, what do you mean wasting your day? The day has barely started for you. It's 3-1.
Another way to check if you like Monogatari is to see if you enjoy the Hunter x Hunter manga. And you'll most likely probably also enjoy Monogatari, because you do a similar amount of reading. And if you're still questioning whether you want to watch it, well, I don't want to do this, but Monogatari has JoJo references. So if you think you're gonna like the show, go ahead and watch it, because I think the show is best enjoyed if you go into it blind. But how blind can you be to the glaring issues in this or most anime? I really am tired of all Japanese anime, you know, and I'm this close to swearing off of all of it. It really does chip away at your self-respect. What do I mean by this? Let me give you an example, alright? Let us consider ourselves as normal, functional members of society. Elongated discussions about women's panties, boobs, and sexualization of children are extremely weird to you. How much of this shit would you be willing to bear before you just drop a show? Ideally, it should be 0, because stuff like that not only insults their intelligence, but calls their moral fiber being into question. It does damage to your mental, man. But this sort of fan service, ecchi or lowbrow sexualization is rampant in most anime. And if you're a normal person, I cannot in good conscience recommend you watch this. Please go watch some Ghibli films or some Bebop or something good instead, you know? So who is the show for? Well, if you're someone like...
お前は俺のアルミナルファンじゃない。
やめてあやめて痛いよ痛いよ
ちょっと待ってなください。で、お前は本当に tell 私はと見える something that 嫌だ comes from Nippon? このバカ。
Then yeah, I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy Monogatari. But if you're just a casual viewer of anime, then this anime is a 2 out of 3. Unless you are genuinely fluent in the language, the upper bound of enjoyment is capped because of the state of the anime and light novel's translation. Up to this point, you basically know all the talking points I'm gonna get across without getting too much into the plot and specifics. And the rest of this video is only for people who have watched Monogatari.